Are you ready?
I am not ready, but go ahead.
You're not ready? Are you recording?
It's been recorded, yeah.
Okay. Hi. Hey there. My name is Matt Giovanisci. I run a website called moneylab.co. I'm an SEO guy. Sure, that's fine. I also have swimuniversity.com, brewcabin.com. I sold another site. I love Brennan. You're watching or listening, depending on where you are. 100 days. 100 days of SEO. I love you.
What's up? What's going on, guys? I'm Brendan Hufford. I'm actually not yelling in this video, even though I'm normally super excitable and yelling. I just put my kids to bed, and they're like right upstairs, right above me in my office. Today we're going to be talking with Matt Giovanisci, and of course we're going to cover all of the core things that we cover in every single Friends Friday episode of 100 Days of SEO. We're going to talk about Matt's approach to SEO, beginner mistakes that Matt sees when it comes to SEO, and even some advanced ones, because here's the coolest thing about Matt, and here's what you're going to learn in this video. Matt has built six-figure websites. He builds these killer brands with amazing content without any link building. Link building is a big part of what I do for my own stuff and for my SEO clients, both like the ones I consult with and as the SEO director of Click Studios. We do a lot of link building, and Matt doesn't do it at all. In fact, I ended up being a bonus interview in his SEO for Bloggers course because he didn't talk about link building in there, and he wanted to talk to somebody who did it. I'm just astounded by his ability again and again, and this isn't just, there's no excuses. It's not just like, well, he had some one fortunate circumstance in a niche where he didn't have to do link building. No. He launches site after site after site. He has Swim University, Roasty Coffee, which he just sold, and also Brew Cabin. So like he's building this really cool kind of media company around these different brands. No link building, just the best possible content. So if you want to learn how to do SEO without link building, this is the video for you. Definitely watch till the end. Now, the video you're watching, the podcast you're listening to, if you're listening to it on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you're listening, this is a pretty abbreviated version. He and I talked for like 45 minutes. So if you want the full version, go to 100daysofseo.com/join and you'll be able to get the full-length version there. So without further ado, let's hear from Matt.
Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us for 100 Days of SEO.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of wanted to jump into this. Tell me a little bit about your approach to SEO. And it's obviously changed over the years because Swim University is how old? Like when did you start?
10 years plus.
Yeah.
11 now, I think.
Which is awesome. So tell me like how your approach has changed over time, or if it has, and like what is your general approach when it comes to SEO?
My general approach to SEO is go big or go home. And I tend to, and this goes for a site that I'm just starting off, like Brew Cabin's only a couple years old. Roasty was only a couple years old when I started that. Obviously, like Swim University is bigger, but I've always gone after the biggest keyword I could go after. I basically go really big with a really hard, difficult, super broad keyword. And in the pursuit of that, I end up ranking for a whole bunch of tiny long tail keywords. I don't strive to be a middle manager. I strive to be the boss. And if I get to middle management, cool. On top of that, I think it's really just about building a user experience that is just super fast, easy to read, and fun to read, and very in-depth, but that doesn't necessarily mean super long. Because I know a lot of people right now are like, dude, just crush like 16,000 words on a page and you're guaranteed to rank. And I'm like, no, you're guaranteed to be fucking boring as hell. So I'd rather take those 16,000 words, condense it into a good 5,000 to 6,000 words, and really just deliver as fast as possible. Because honestly, I think that that's what Google's looking for. And that's sort of my general approach to SEO. It's just, big ass keywords, fast, easy to read, fun to read, not short, not super long, but kind of like right
As
in the
long as
middle.
it's got to be, right? Like,
As long as it's got to be, correct.
yeah, I really like that. And I know this sounds crazy, but this is something you see a lot with like YouTube SEO because it's so democratic and because they own the platform, they have all the data and watch time really matters. The whole idea of like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is really informative and it's a long, like length does not help you on YouTube. And I would argue it doesn't help you in Google either. Like people think like, oh, you'll rank for more terms. Not if it's awful. Like it's got to,
Yeah.
I know this sounds silly, but like how many people doing SEO actually read their article and go, oh, that's fun to read. That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
That, and you know where I think this comes from is like, you actually have something to say. Like you have a take. And I don't think people include that as like an SEO strategy, like just having a voice and like being, you know, yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because something I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I was like, so Swim University has its own philosophy to pool care. It does. And there are keywords that we try to rank for. So as an example, algicide is a chemical that you add to your pool that is a algae preventative. And a lot of people might look at that keyword and go, well, I'm going to just do like the top 10 algicides to add or like how to add algicide to a pool. But Swim University has a unique take on it because personally, I mean, I'm the one who has, taught pool care for years since I was 13. Like I don't tell people to use algicide. I think it is sort of like an erroneous chemical that you really don't need as long as you do all these other things right. So we created an article called The Truth About Algicide. And that ranks for algicide because it's not just you know what, you're looking for algicide, here's the thing. No, we're giving you a point of view. And that we don't do that all the time, but we certainly do it sometimes maybe at the sacrifice of actually ranking for something. But I think what that does is it builds trust in the reader. And if one of those readers happens to own a pool company, which a lot of them do, a lot of them use Swim University as a source to train their employees, they will link to me, which is a backlink that I've kind of earned like through respect and trust. And that sort of helps push that forward. Or it gets shared because it's like, wow, somebody actually said the thing we were all thinking and didn't just write something to rank. Either that or I just won't write it. Even if it's a good keyword and it doesn't fit the philosophy of the site, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go after this keyword just to get traffic because there's a lot of keywords I could go after and I used to go after to get traffic and on Swim University. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. That actually doesn't fit our brand at all. And it's not actually selling our products and people are not actually clicking affiliate links. So why the hell did I go after it? Because I was a traffic, hound and I wanted it all. And it's just not all traffic is equal.
That's a really good point, right? Does it actually, I was talking to Sam from Hrefs earlier today for 100 Days of SEO. And we were talking about like, is this actually, I was like, what's your guiding principle with SEO? He's like, does it map to our business? Like it's a business decision.
Yes.
I was like, that's a really good point. It's a good way to explain
Yep.
it. Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to read another generic article that starts out like if you have an article on email marketing, like I'd rather read an email marketing article from you that like opening line is like ConvertKit is the shit. Here's why. Like I want to read that versus email marketing is a tool used by most marketers today. Have you ever wondered how you like, oh, stop. Like just that horrible content where you're like, there's going to be no opinions here. There's no take.
And there's no style or anything to the writing. And so I've, being in the industry that I'm in, like I sometimes need to read those. ConvertKit is an email marketing tool that everyone, that I started using 4 years ago. And guess what? It's working. And it's like, I don't, whatever. Like, I need to read
ConvertKit is ConvertKit. Good.
And right. The only one I have. And so I read it and I'm just like eyes glaze over, whatever. And I'm skimming. And I understand that people do that on my site as well, but we try to add fun to like our H2 tags, our H3 tags, so that when they do skim, it's like, whoa, they said the S word, or whoa, that's a funny pun, or whatever. I mean, if you think puns are funny, which I do, we just inject a lot of personality into the brand, and that personality comes from me because I started the brand, and then we just sort of carried that tradition forward, which we haven't done at Brew Cabin, which we will be injecting, because I hired writers and we had to get something out, and it was like, okay, well, this is working now, let's go back and inject the personality. Money Lab is one of those sites that doesn't rely on SEO at all, and it's just all of my personality, yet somehow I have consistent traffic without doing any SEO whatsoever. Like, I literally don't rank for anything. So
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with that is like, yeah, you have like the email page and the things that are just like, just purely you cannot research those,
No.
right? Those are just 100% you. And I think I think that's a really good takeaway for anybody watching or listening is like, the more you can put you into something, and I understand if it's a project that you can't really put yourself into, or you're doing client work or whatever else, like there's a part of that too, but like putting their voice into it and helping them define their voice, like you can provide a lot more value to clients and even projects that, just like you said with Swim University, like it's not like all out like level 99 mat, but it is like,
sure,
we have a take and we have a stance on things, and you put your flag in the ground, and like that matters. Tell me, a little bit. So you have a course called SEO for Bloggers, and if people want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description and in the show notes as well. So SEO for Bloggers, I love it. It's an awesome course. You're like, it's good.
No, you're in it.
Yeah, I'm the bonus interview where we get a little cursy and we talk about link building for like an hour. Yes. But yeah, I mean, obviously,
because I don't do link building, and you do.
Yep. Yeah. And it's not, it's one of those things, but here's the thing. Like it's one of those things of like, finding your skill set, right? Like I have a take, I have a very like definitive voice on things, which I know is coming across a lot in this like 100 Days of SEO project, but like, I'm not my design skills and like my ability to code and things, you are leaps and bounds past me on that. You're also really good at content. And I think that's where like SEO for Bloggers really stands out, is like, if you want to learn how to like do really good research and like put together some really just like amazing content, I think it's a fantastic course for reasons beyond that, but I like that part of it. So my question was like, this has exposed you having a course, especially something that's SEO for Bloggers. I'm sure you get a lot of people that sign up for the course who are closer to the beginner end of the spectrum. And like, what are some of the common mistakes you see beginners making when it comes to SEO?
Overdoing it on the words, overdoing it on writing too much, which is like, used to not be a problem, right? It used to be, you wrote too little. You're like, 300 words isn't going to rank. And they're like, fine, 12,000. I'm like, well, there is a middle ground. And again, like you said, like it's enough to like get the point across or whatever. I think a lot of people struggle with the actual technology of SEO. I think what I would say, like, yes, I may be good at content, although currently, like, I'm not really writing any of the content on Swim University or even Brew Cabin, but I've developed the voice, and so it carries forward. That's just one piece of it. There's a lot of technical SEO stuff that we can talk about H1 tags, H2 tags, alt tags, all these different meta description things. And those are all really simple because you add a plugin or whatever you use and you can just add those things. And it's sort of like structuring, because a lot of what I talk about in the course is like how to structure, like visually structure content that people like Google likes. And I think the biggest mistake is actually the website and technology of it, because it's hard. It's hard to start a website, and there's a lot of technical stuff. Like, you need to know HTML and CSS and how servers work. And if you're using WordPress, you're on PHP. A lot of people will just use Squarespace. I've never seen anyone do SEO well on Squarespace. Personally, I've never seen it done, but I don't know if that's because of a limitation of their technology or because people just don't use Squarespace for that reason. But
what about Wix?
I don't know.
People killing it with Wix?
I see. That's the thing. I have no idea, but I know people.
Spoiler alert: they're not.
So I, this is so hard to say because I know that this falls on deaf ears a lot of the times, but like if you learn HTML, CSS, and a light amount of PHP using WordPress or whatever, you are a SEO superpower. Like it is an absolute superpower because I can look at a website, or I can even look at my own website and go, I want to make this site load in in a millisecond. You click any one of my posts, it loads. And I had to learn that. I mean, even though I've been doing code for 10 years, I still had to learn like some server stuff and how caching works and all of these things. And so now that I have like my content is good, it's structured well. Now the holistic view of the website and how it's organized, and I keep things as crazy simple as possible. Whenever somebody is just getting started, I'm like, download the lightest theme you can find, like I don't even know how to find something like that, but something super fast, super light. Invest in a really good hosting account, because you can invest in something like Bluehost and they're not going to help you. Or you can invest in something like Kinsta or WP Engine or SiteGround, or name your,
Yeah, I use Flywheel. It's simple.
Flywheel's another one. Yeah.
Who do you use
invest in something that's got built-in back-end caching and CDN capabilities that are going to help your website load super fast. Invest in good plugins. Like I use WP Rocket. I use Imagify for my images. I use Cloudflare as my DNS, which makes things really, really fast. And if you go to Swim University, it loads quickly. One, because of all those pieces of technology, and two, because the design, I've taken the design over 10 years and literally just took out. I'm like, you know what? No more images, no more, background images, no fancy design techniques. It's like people just need to read the content, and everyone's doing it on their phones. Like 75% of my traffic, according to Google Analytics, is on a mobile device. So what are you looking at? You're looking at friggin' text, some pictures here and there. So the text better load super fast. They want to get to the point, click my affiliate links, buy my products, whatever. Like everything has to be crazy fast. And I think that is one of the reasons why I've been able to take a brand new website like Brew Cabin that's a year old and get traffic to it with 0 backlinks, and just doing 1 article a week, super slow. And that's what I did with Roasty too. 1 article a week, but the website was lightning fast. It was super simple. It loaded well on mobile devices, and I was rewarded by Google for that. Not to say that I didn't have backlinks. I did. I just earned them all natural.
This is something I've heard echoed. I interviewed Nick Eubanks as well. He's a owner of this agency called From the Future, one of the founders of Traffic Think Tank, this cool SEO Slack group that I'm a part of. And he was saying too, he's like, look, like if you want to have the audacity to rank in Google and you do not have a basic understanding of even how the internet works as a thing, like servers, and you just think that like it should, he's like, take 30 minutes and like watch a couple videos and just start to understand how the things are happening on your computer. You see video, where is that coming from? Like, how is this working? And he said, like, when you exactly what you said really echoed that, because it's like when you understand, like, oh, it's got to go over here and get the thing and then bring it back to you, and like you start to understand. And that was like probably a horrible like way of explaining it, but like when you start to understand those things, you're like, oh, I know how the engine works. I can make it go faster, right?
Right. It's literally optimization. We're talking about SEO as what it stands for.
And it is intimidating, but like if you believe that you deserve, like this is part of this whole like just general feeling I have about things. Like if you want to have the audacity to live a life of independence and like doing your own thing and having your own products and services and whatever, like it's worth like you're going to base your whole life on the internet, like probably know how the thing works that you're using. It's just like if you had like a call center and you're like, nobody here knows how phones work and phone line, like nobody can fix these things when they break, and like anything like that sounds insane, but we've become so accustomed to the internet just being like, oh, it's in the little box in my hand. All of a sudden, you have
to get a program like Ahrefs, which is my favorite program. I talk a lot about it in the course.
Same.
And yeah, I mean,
Literally,
you're wearing an Ahrefs
wearing my
shirt.
Ahrefs t-shirt. Yep.
Yeah. Look, it's the best one out there for keyword research, and it's not cheap. I will say that, and I took me a long time to like pull the trigger on it, but best trigger pull ever. So kind of mad at myself that I didn't. And
it's also $7 for 7 days if you want to try it.
Right. And so that's what I would say is like, do that, get a big list of like relevant, super relevant, doesn't even matter what the difficulty is, but if you can get it under like 25 or under 30, you're good. And over 1,000 searches a month, you make a big list and you just knock them out. Just publish. Doesn't have to be fast. You can do it once a week. Obviously, it's going to make things slower, but just knock out really good, in-depth, well-written, well-edited, entertaining, if you can make it entertaining, articles, and have a very fast website, have a very minimalist designed website with just easy structure to find all your articles. Like if you go on Swim University right now, you go to any one of my like categories, like swimming pool care at the very top at my bar, it is a list of bullets. It's pretty damn simple. It's been that way since day one. It's a list of, it's like an unordered list. That's it. And people were like, why don't you add like design elements? I'm like, because no one's complained. Like it's so easy to find shit on that page because it's just, you can understand it. And so, to me, it's like super easy. I love it. And if you can do that, it just works.
Are there any advanced mistakes that you see people making? So we kind of covered like beginner mistakes. Are there any like advanced or like other mistakes you see people making or even you've made yourself despite like kind of having the beginner stuff handled?
I think the advanced mistake is page speed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people who do SEO content and their websites are slow and their web pages are slow.
Getting real self-conscious right now because I haven't looked at what mine is for a while. So yeah.
And
I just forget. You're like, oh, the keyword and the topical research and the search intent. Yep. And you forget that like, oh, this got to, did I put a thing on it that made it go real slow?
Probably like there's probably a bunch of erroneous plugins that you have installed that are like crushing your page speed and that don't need to be there, that don't add any value to the user. That is something that I am constantly pruning and making my website faster. And the biggest reason for page speed, in my opinion, is like, one, we just want shit immediately, right? We all want stuff instantly. Two, yes, the internet and our dial-ups, whatever, are getting faster. Our phones are getting faster, but they're never gonna be like it's gonna be a very long time before it's instant. And even when it is instant, the pages that take 1 millisecond to load are going to be like, oh my God, this takes forever. And like your website's loading in like 0.25 milliseconds. You're like, wow, this site's fast. So I think page speed's always that. And two, or like everyone's looking at websites on their phones and on their tablets, and they're sometimes not on Wi-Fi. And in my business specifically, like again, 75% of people are on their mobile device looking at Swim University because they're generally an older crowd. So they don't have laptops. They have iPads and they have phones, right? And they're out by their pool. They might not be near their Wi-Fi. They need to look shit up fast. It pops up immediately, and I win from that. And Google's like, hell yeah, this is great. I don't need AMP, right? AMP is like Google's like instant pages. I don't need it because my site's faster than what is the same speed as an AMP article.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need AMP to strip down your design elements because there's no extraneous.
It's already stripped down. It still looks good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's subtlety in the design, but yeah, I think that's the biggest. I've looked at people who are like ranking for stuff, and I'm like, their website gets an F in GT metrics, and it like takes 17 seconds to load, or 17 minutes, whatever.
What is it if somebody were to just say like, all right, I want to go check my stuff right now? What would you recommend?
GTmetrics.com, and it's GTME Trix, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
.com. Don't look. They're going to give you a score. They're going to give you a couple scores. And it'll be like a grading system. Look at the waterfall tab, because the waterfall tab will show you what stuff on your website is being loaded, and there's going to be some blocks, and it's probably a plugin, and you can deactivate that plugin and just speed things up. Caching is usually the biggest thing. Like if you can cache your website to load instantly. I use Cloudflare. I pay for it. You don't have to pay for it if you don't have like a lot of. If you're just getting started, it's free. So highly recommend that. And what Cloudflare does is take a picture of your website, and not a picture, like a picture of your code, and they serve it. So if you're where are you at, Chicago?
Yeah.
So like there's probably a server way closer to you than there is to me in Colorado. And so it'll serve it from the closest one to you, because it's just like a snapshot, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just loads instantly.
Which gets back to like, do you know how the internet works, right?
Exactly. And it's a DNS server. So, and it has a CDN built into it, which is a content delivery network, which helps just things to arrive at your computer faster, even though they might be sitting on a server in Austin, Texas, where WP Engine is, or they're sitting in Seattle where AWS is, Amazon. But we only really need the HTML code, and that's not really much to store. And so so Cloudflare sort of dispenses that, and makes it very quick.
Yeah. To summarize, what you're saying is like despite the fact that internet seems like it should just be instantaneous from anywhere, it's actually being served from physical locations. And the closer the physical location is to you, the faster it is. Like there is value. Just like if you sent me a letter from Colorado, it'll get here faster than if somebody sent it to me from California or something. Like,
exactly.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a bad analogy.
Yeah,
bad analogy.
It works exactly like that. And then there's things you can do. That's server side, and then there's that's client side, and then there's server side things like on your own site. You can do like WP Rocket is a plugin that I started using with WP Engine, and it caches locally, and it does it lazy loads videos, and it lazy loads images, and it does all this like background shit. It helps cleaning up your database, like all these little tiny micro optimization features that are all just like one clicks that sort of just clean up, make things super, super, super fast and just super lightweight. And then just having, in compressing images, I use their sister company, which is Imagify, to just compress images on the fly. And I pay for that service. And it's not much. I think it's like $4 a month or something. And WP Rocket, I think, is like $50 for a single website for a year. So not expensive tools. And obviously Cloudflare is free. And then just like not adding a lot of plugins. You don't need a lot of like weird designy shit. I don't have share buttons anymore because people know how to do that shit now. And also in my case, people are not sharing articles about algae in their pool because then all of her friends know that their pool is green.
Come check out my filthy pool. Yeah.
And I just, I did have all those things, and they just weren't being clicked, and not a lot of traffic came from Facebook or Twitter or any of that. So I was just like, oh, I could delete it, and didn't see any change in traffic at all. In fact, I probably grew because my site was slightly faster. So you just need to make those decisions. Do you really need this? Yes or no? No, delete it. So those are the mistakes I see a lot of like advanced SEO people make.
Yeah, definitely. Well, awesome, Matt. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on 100 Days of SEO.
Totally. Good luck with it, man.
All right, so I hope that was really awesome. I hope you enjoyed me talking with Matt. Again, if you want to listen to or watch the full 45-minute version, go to 100daysofseo.com/join. You also be able to get access to the Pillar Content Masterclass, where we dive in even more. I actually break down Matt as one of the case studies in the Pillar Content Masterclass of how to create pillar content that will rank in Google, and in this case, without having to do a lot of link building. So if you dig the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe on the podcast or here on YouTube. I've been Brendan Hufford. Don't forget to work hard. Be nice. Don't yell and wake up your kids. Be nice to people and don't get too lost trying to create something that matters.